Doo-doo-doo. Snuggled up in bed with the flu. Aww. Sorry. Sorry you stuck with the flu. Hello, Helly. Hello, Sharon, Becky, Kelly. Good afternoon for you in BC. Actually, I have an auction a few years ago. Pop won some bar glasses, and this is one of only 24. This is the only one that survived, and it's Granville Island. It's one of my favorite ones. It says Granville Island Brewing. It's good to be here. Yes. So that's in the near Vancouver. Well, that's where it is. So it's a great glass. It's one of my favorites. It is the one of the favorite, you know. It's the only one we got. Working on Dear Jane. I just actually saw some stuff about that on Pinterest the other day, so I hadn't seen it before. Hello, Dana from Germany. Hello. Hello, Lois, Sonia, Tina, Cindy, Naomi, Elizabeth, Angie, Judy. Hello, hello. Hand sewing it. Wow. 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 I don't know. I'm sure I have the time, but how on earth did you get it to look like a Bargello with all those shortcuts? What do you mean shortcuts? Did you see what I had going on behind me here? Check it out. And then that's whatever tumblers I had left over from the boys' charity quilts. That's what I zipped up that real quick, and then I'm gonna cut some more tumblers and finish it off. But it gave me 5 extra rows, and they're 12 long, so hey, you know. I added I've adapted the pattern for the Serenity Bargello. Serenity is really the color choices that it is, and it's greens and blues. But I'm just saying, it's a free pattern from northcott.net. And I did go look it up, so it is free, so feel free to download it. There's actually lots of stuff. There's bags, there's other patterns, there's lots of things. It's all free under the free pattern, so it's nice that Northcott does that. So I did my 12 of my assorted coordinated fabrics, and then I tossed in 2 Rebels. So I have 14. So my strips will be a little bit longer because it's got 2 more of 2.5s to deal with, a little bit longer. So not that really matters per se. It's going to be a little bit longer, okay? All the more colors you add is going to be longer when you do it that way, right? It is beautiful here too, Lois. It is like +4 or 5 degrees. Things are melting. Tomorrow we're in for quite a bit of rain, I hear, but it's family day, so I don't have to go stand out in it, so that's okay. Just got to go hang out at the arena a little bit to celebrate some friend's birthday. And then Tuesday we're supposed to also have some rain. So all the snow that we have will be gone probably by tomorrow afternoon. It'll be gone. And we had quite a bit. Well, quite a bit, but it's really warmed up. Hopefully this keeps going and this is the start of spring. Because really, we're almost at the end of February. It's okay. We're allowed. Your crocuses are blooming. Oh, I wish. Thank you, Nancy. I'm glad it's looking good. Pop said, oh, there he is in the other corner. He's under the subscribe button, though, on my screen, though. Aw. I wonder if we can move that. Is he under the subscribe button for you guys as well? And everybody can hear me, it's okay? People are out running. See? I got neighbors running out. Neighbors playing in the yard with the dog. Class tomorrow. Wow. Sewing class. Actually, there's a retreat going on near us this week for the next 5 days. It's kind of like, oh, but I don't know. I don't know if I could commit to that much, you know. I like what I got going on. I can stop and go what I do, like, and the breaking of the crossing guard and sewing stuff, and you know. Why cannot see anything? Runner class. Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, try refreshing. Thanks, Teresa. Great help there. Thank you. Hi, Heather. Hello. Hello, Pat. Hello, Patsy. It's nice to see everybody. Okay, so like I said, I adapted this to have 14 colors, and as you can see by what we have going on behind me here, those are all my 14 colors. So I have another, this is the tube, the first tube that gives you because it says cut 4 pieces, right? So that's giving you 4 sections, 2 sets of tubes to do, because you're repeating the pattern, right? Because you want to make it long. You don't want to make a short quilt unless you're doing a table runner. That's up to you. And even at that, you put a couple of borders around it and boom, you got yourself a table runner. So what we need to do is finish cutting this right here, and sewing more pieces onto the start of the 3rd set, and then I have the 4th set ready to rock here, all put together. So I did cut 13 strips. I started off with 2.5, which this says starting off at 2, but I don't know, I'm a rebel. I kind of do what I want. So I did 2.5, 2, and then 1 3/4, 1.5, 1 1/4, 1, and then 3/4 was the smallest, and that is very, very tiny. That is the minuscule. It's obviously it's only a quarter. Really only see about a quarter of it. So it wasn't my favorite to line those seams up. I pinned every single one because it was so tiny. But most times if it was bigger cuts, I just kind of pinned every 3rd one. But for some of the smaller ones, I pinned at every intersection because you need to match up. You need to snuggle every single one of those intersections to make sure it looks good. So yeah, we're having fun. I will post a photo on things. Ah, awesome. I can't wait. Share it with all of us. And Miss Anita's here. Linda's here. Thank you very much. Just plugging away at it. I kind of got a little carried away. Pop was working on some lights. Hopefully the lights are okay. We've got a whole little, he's quite creative, so he made this whole big like expanse of light, so hopefully it's enough light so there's no shadow effect in here. So he was busy doing that sort of stuffies, and I was plugging away at this. So I had to get something on the go. I don't want to take us 5 weekends to do this. I kind of want to keep each color about 3 weekends at the most. And last weekend was the first one. This will be the second. And so, we'll keep plugging it away and we'll get there. We'll get there somehow. All right, so what I think I'd like to do is finish off sewing one set of rows together. And this is how I've laid this out. This was my color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tossed in this golden brown with a little bit hint of yellow and a little hint of blue, and it's very spectacular. Jenny Graham, of the winner of the tree skirt, this is the back of it. So this is the back of the tree skirt that we made. So it's got a lot of little playful color on there, and so I tossed that in, and then I have, of course, the other ones to sew on as well. So I think I'll get those ones ready because I don't want to cut this up completely without finishing at least one row. Okay, one more section for the 3rd. Okay, so after this one, it is this. Oh, hi, Mr. Clive. Oh, yeah, here. Okay, you can just get him over with. There we go. See, now you're going to make my nice, clean blue shirt all furries. Yep. Say, hey, peeps. What's up? No. You don't need to put the claws in. Tough loving is not necessary. Gentle. Right? Such a cute old man. Hey, say everybody, hi everybody. Ow. Clive timed me exactly. He must have heard me talking to myself. Realized, oh no, nobody's answering her. That's crazy for camera time. I might have to bang on the floor and get Munchkin to come and take him, because sometimes he's just so persistent on when his time and his loving time. Yeah, warm kitty, purr, purr, purr. Hello, Nadine. Hey, are we done? Are we good? Can I get the sew? Nope. He's ripped the microphone, the tiny one that we had, off of this twice, if not 3 times. So we put the furry one on, and he seemed to be, you know, not as pestering it as much. There's nothing back there for you to nap on. No, not anymore. Okay, so what I was doing this was kind of sewing this in bits of sections. I wasn't doing it all 14, one right after the other. So I'd sew about 3 together, and then I would attach it to the big pile, and then sew like 3 together, and then attach it to the big pile. That's me. That's how I like to work things. I don't want to fuss around too much if I don't have to. Okay, so what we'll take is the next in line, which is this funky green right here. And I did try to get things pinned together, and the beans. So we'll put those and the beans together, and we'll sew straight on down. And then to that we'll add the little flowers and the dark green, and then this little leafy one, and then that bright yellow. Okay, don't want to run over you, buddy. I'm trying to see where you are. Sorry. How did those angle seams work out? Which angled seams? What do you mean? Are we talking about this? There wasn't really any angled seams. Nose piecing? No, they line right up. If you put a pin in and you snuggle them together, they line right up. Okay, I did put my high performance plate back on, and my foot, because I said I was going to try to do this project this way to see if I can keep a better consistent seam allowance. So a little bit challenge myself, and when I watch my foot, I'm watching just the edge of it, like right here. I'm trying to make sure that the fabric's riding along the side of it, like it's hugging right under there. It's going to just snuggle right under that as it's going. And if you ever question, you know, you just go and you take a little tape measure and you go and look and say, oh, okay, well, that's a quarter, or that's not a quarter, or, you know. Well, that's why I was flipping and flopping, Anita. I'd make sure that when I attached it, that, okay, I know that when I attached it the one time, I had it so that, you know, the majority was underneath and the few that I was adding was on top. And then when the next time I added it, it was the couple that I was adding underneath and the majority was on top, that sort of thing. And when you're pressing it, trying to keep your seams really straight, and as it says, it's pressing to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. You're pressing to those ones in between. And then that helps snuggle them against each other when you're trying to line them up. So it was interesting. It was interesting and a bit of a challenge, especially when it came to that really small one, the 3/4. I can't see going any smaller than that, or you'd have nothing. You'd have nothing to see. You know what I mean? Hello, little urban homestead. Just talking about the Bargello and how I added 2 more colors. Add a little bit golden brown and yellow. And I really like that pop of yellow as it's going. We're just getting started. Just started at 3. Only 15 minutes ago. Glad to have a break, Nadine. That's good. You'll chillax with us for a little bit. All right. Okay, that goes down to the extra pile. Right. All right, so we need to make sure we're going to sew these in order. We don't want to get anything messed up. So that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then 11 and 12 are these 2 right here. Okay, we need that one first. There. Okay, well, I'm gonna twist this to this side and go there. Depending on your widths of fabric, because they're all different, that's why you line up one, keep it as nice and flat and as lined up as possible. You're going to trim that off anyways. And then the other one's always going to be wonky, you know. And it's not that it's just different salvages, right? People have, and you're going to have different bits left over from different projects. But as long as you can make it anywhere about 40 to 42, you should be okay for, the strip of a width of fabric. So what's everybody up to? Yeah, thumbs up, everybody. Laundry? I don't want to do laundry. That's one of my least favorites. Though it is relatively easy compared to any of the other chores, you know what I mean? Because you really just put it in one machine, take it, put it in another machine, and then deal with it for a few minutes folding it. So it's really not that bad. It's better than doing, hour of dishes or something. Or scrubbing the bathroom or something. So as to what size this is going to end up being, I have no idea because I added 2. I added 2 rows. So, all right, that's going to be, let's press, move that off to the extra pile. And those we still need. We need those 3, still got 3 more to add. Okay. So if that was 9, this would be 10. So pressing towards 10 is this light green here. Ooh, that was very precariously balanced. We'll move that down there. That there for a second. We'll get this row all put together. These strips set was one row, and then I can cut some and sew some together and pin them next to this and see how that's going to go. Okay. Okay, so now let's sew the other 3 together. Maybe let's not keep them out of sequence. Let's split them that way. And then it's this one and this one. And of course, I want to make sure they're going the correct way. So this one's next in line, and then that one. So I want to sew down on this side. There we go. I have about literally a half a box of projects that all need binding. I said to Pop, he's going to have to help me out with that. And we'll add that little pop of yellow right on the end. And I only chose just yesterday. I only chose the 2 colors. I had a few that I was looking at, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just It's not making me happy. I don't know why I didn't like the pink. I don't know why I didn't like the blue. A little bit of browny gold and that yellow suited it. I like it. That yellow shows up a little bit more than I had anticipated, but I really like it. It's like that little ray of sunshine just trying to pop up over the, you know, the hills or something to me. All right, so let's add the last one. And I still have to add on my little red bucket. So it's getting there. Now it's empty. Gotta have another project going on in there. I don't really need all those pieces anymore. That's the hard part, is just keeping that stuff separate. You know, what's what. You know. And this goes on the outside. Okay. And since we sewed those two together that way, we'll sew those two together the other way. Just do a little flipping and flopping. But if you're not yanking at it or anything, it should be okay. It does really pop, doesn't it, Denise? Yeah. Hi, Carol. There we go. There she is. I was like, I know, people are saying hi. I didn't make the text really big at all, so. So said Laurelyn, do I ever use my, I didn't see what the question was. I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't get any mail this week, and we do have enough 9 patches. I made up a couple to fill in the quilt, and we'll get it done on the Long Arm Wednesday after the charity ones are done. I had a hard time trying to squish in the bear paw. You love bow pieces? The other one was just the leftover tumblers from the boys' charity quilt. Here it is. I just put off to the side. I made 2 of them. That was the weekend project. So these were just some tumblers that were left over from the project. And I just thought, well, I got 5. I didn't realize I had that many left over. So 5 rows of 12. And then I can go and cut a few more easy peasy with some more of the flannel bits that I have left over. And that's a 3rd quilt. So, hey, there we go. We get donate 3. And if I can squish them all 3 on the Long Arm for Wednesday, then I will. Yeah, they will. I will. I'll add some more. Add some more tumblers. That's what I was just saying. I don't know what's going on. I don't. God. Even Pop was saying, because I no more than like 20 minutes before, well, 10 minutes before shooting, I started coughing. I don't know. Life stresses, who knows? I think at some important times I am like a little allergic to Clive. His dander, his hair, or whatever. So, all right, so that is the last for that one, and then we're gonna sew some together. Okay. All right, so let's put this one off to the side, right there, and we'll put you in the sequence. And then this one too, so that would be 12, 13, 14. So if we're pushing towards the even numbers, that goes that right down in the middle. And this just, the reason why they have that doing that, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, however many rows you choose to do, and how big your strips. Oh, you're looking at that box thinking it's napping time for you? No, no, no. Though it was a nice suggestion of people thinking you could nap in that, but I say no. It's not a Clive napping bag. No, it's not. No, it's not, Clive. Where's your human? Your human knows he needs to entertain you at this time. And just kind of make sure your seams are nice and straight. They're not really wonky, you know, 1/4 inch. That's why I thought a good way to practice with that 1/4 inch seam allowance foot. You know, maybe I can, because some of these were so small, I don't want to mess it up. You know, I want to give it my best shot. I don't want to do it, you know, in half. I like those 3 together. Don't those 3 look really nice together? I think they do. See that better? Oh, down further. Nice. That's awesome. Very nice, Donna Faye. Yeah, every little bit helps, and it does the world good. It really, really does. Okay, so now we're going to take this one, 2.5, just like the pattern says. 2.5. 12 is, well, it says 12, but I got 14. So 14 is sorted. And it says the finished quilt, but it also has borders too. So, and I didn't print off the first page because the first page had a bunch of the colored print of the pattern layout like it is a quilt, and I did not have any ink in my printer at the time, so to me it was just a waste. So even this is like light brown or something, the text here. So yeah, just 2.5, and of course you can cut as many as you like. This one says the finished quilt should be 47.5 by 62. So, but that's just a rough estimate. Okay, hold on. Yes. Just making sure. Better triple check than have to use the seam ripper. Seam ripper sometimes is not always your best friend. All right, and then this gets added onto that section. Okay. Let's try and even that all the way up at the top. Hi, Mr. Clive. Apparently he wants to play with what we got going on here. And I think Pop fixed my chair, so I shouldn't be rolling out of it as much or sliding out of it as much. Apparently I had it tilted forward. So I haven't tried to like fight to stay in it so much lately. So, well, the past few days anyways, because he just did it. Hopefully you guys got a chance to watch his Tech Talk Thursday. That was a lot of fun. Very interesting stuff. Thanks, Becky. I assume you mean this one, hopefully. He's like waiting right there for the moment just to, you know, not necessarily jump up or anything, but, you know, a moment of lapseness where he can get on the lap. You should, Doreen. Why not? I thought I've seen them in all sorts of colors. Can't say I've really seen a lot of the green ones, but I've seen them more in the purples and pinks and blacks and whites and grays and blues and greens and, you know, that sort of bright colors and stuff. So, and I had a lot of greens that were bigger chunks that I knew I would need like 4 or 5 strips to do this, right? And of course, if you wanted to make this quilt bigger, all you have to do is set aside another 2 strip sets to make a whole other tube. You know, just another one here and another one there. And then you're just cutting that to make your wave. And you're the dictator of the wave, right? You get to pick whether it's going to go all the way down to the end or come on just a little bit or come all the way down. You know, I chose that one. I didn't follow anything here. I wanted what I felt with the fabric and how I wanted my curve and peaks to go. So that's you know, that's your choice, and you can play, or you can follow what they have going on. I thought this was my first time. I was going to have as much fun with it as possible and just learn as much as possible. All right. I'm not sure if anybody's buffering. Nobody said anything. Are we having issues? Okay. Now we've got those together. We need those and those to be together. Okay. And let's try and line that up as much as possible near the top. So we can just kind of get a nice cleaner cut there when we do the trimming. Back here. Make sure I got that correct. Yes, it's adding that section to this section, and we're going. Well, hopefully not everybody's buffering or no issues. Maybe it's just a refresh or reload. Just trying to make sure everybody's lined up underneath, like it's nice smooth edge. There we go. Line it up right to the end. Don't want any wonky ones or waves or anything. Oh, Sass's getting dressed again. I'm looking. That's creepy, I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, so that's one strip set done. And of course you make another one, which I have enough of the strips left to do that. And then that gives you your 14 or 15 or 16 or 18, whatever ones you need to do. So when I laid these out, because you have to sew the tube together and then you turn the tube right side out so it looks just like this right here. And then it told you after you had the two together to fold it again in half, so you actually have 4 layers here and you're cutting through. I wasn't so keen on that because maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna get a little wonky with the cutter or whatever. I feel like I had more control by just doing the one loop. That's why I put my cutting board this way and got my long ruler and was making longer cuts and doing it that way just with the 2 layers. So instead of folding it in 4. That's my choice. I figure I put all this effort going into this. I really don't want to mess it up now by, being, I don't know, greedy, I guess, and not taking the time to lay it out. So, all right, so that's one whole set. Let's pin that on the wall, and then we'll cut some more to add to these guys. Okay. Not that I really want to cover up the tumblers, but you get it. There we go. They look nice together. And of course, this one was a bit mixy. This one was a bit mixy. It had its ups and its downs on some of them, but it adds a nice little fun texture to that, I think. So, all right, so let's move this out of the way a bit. Okay. And move this, and I'll put my other strip set that I have to build the other one to go to that one off to the side here. And we will cut some strips here. So this. You can always keep these if you want to do it again. Don't waste your paperwork, It just has pinholes in it. It's not like a big deal or anything. Okay, I'm gonna move it all the way up. Sorry? See those angle seams and the strips? Do they? Okay, I got you. No, they didn't. Honest to goodness. Even when sewing it together, didn't find much of one. There's a couple that have like a bit of this funky greeny here with the flower in it. It's a little bit down on here, but really, it doesn't take away from it at all. You can tell they're supposed to be all connected, so I'll take detailed pictures afterwards so you can see my seams. You got to give things a try, right? If you don't give it a try, how do you know whether it works or not? So, and I didn't want to be so picky with my fabrics, you know, that I couldn't be a little bit flexible, right? Okay, so the last one I cut was a 2.5, and then I end up having to go up to 3 inches, and then it's back to 2.5. So the next one in this section here would be a nice big one. So that's going to be 3, and then it's back to 2.5 to 2.25, whatever. So I don't know if I want to go down to 3/4 again, though. That was really tiny. Very narrow, 3/4 of an inch. And it has that doing a couple of times in here. 3/4 of an inch on number 6, number 17, number 26. You know, like, so those ones say right there, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can get a more precise cut the second time around. Okay, so I said 3 inches, right? So it's 3 inches, 2.5, 2. Okay, so stand over here, making sure I got plenty of reach. And this is where you want to make sure your seam is on a line, your flat edge is on a line, and the other seam is as close to a line or as straight as possible. You don't want any folds, you don't want any loops, or, you know, that's why they have you putting all the seams in that direction, so they lay nice and flat against each other. Okay, so taking my long ruler, and I'm using my ruler as the cut, not my board. I'm just cutting on the board, but I'm using my ruler as the cut that I need. So this is 1, 2.5. What's going on? Want you come hang out with me? Oh. Is the keyboard in the way, or? Okay, well, I got a few cuts to do, so just give me a few minutes and I'll be here for a bit. Okay, so this is 3. Nice even pressure getting through all those seams. Okay. And then this is where you know you have to put it in its sequence. Okay, and this is where you know, okay, I know that if I was to place this, whether it's going up or down, if I'm going to go up, okay, then this would be up there, that green one. See how that sequence is going up? If I'm coming back down, then I'm putting that sequence there. And you can see I just kind of, you know, that's for me to decide. I want to go all the way up and take this yellow right off. Okay, so that tells me I need to, if I'm putting there, I'm separating the seam at this one right here. Okay, and use your seam ripper. I had a couple around here. There we go. Use your seam ripper and just separate that seam. This green thread's working out very fantastically for its $1 cost. Okay, and then you take that and you pin it right in that sequence where it needs to be. Okay, and then when we cut the next one, I'm going to do its yellow piece will be up here and then up here, and I'm going to take it right off, and then I'm going to have it come back down again, because then that makes it so the bottom one, the yellow one, comes up and peaks as well. Okay, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's the 3. Now we need 2.5. Yes. Okay, so lining this up. 1, 2, and a half. Hold on. 1, 2 and a half, 1, 2 and a half, scoot it up just a smidge. You have all the time in the world to make sure this is all lined up before you cut. Nobody's rushing you, nobody's barking at you, nobody's saying, gotta get it done, gotta get it done. Well, they better not be anyways, tell them to go bugger off. So that's why you just take your time, line it up. Nice, even pressure all the way. Okay, so that was the 2 and a half, and that was his 2 1/4. No, this is 2. And then 1 and a half. Okay, so 2. Lining it up. Even pressure. And then 1 and a half. Okay, and we'll cut a couple more and then we'll lay them out so you can see them, and then we'll sew those together, okay? So that was 1, and then it goes 1 and then 3/4. Yeah, I don't know, should I do another 3/4? Pop says yes. Pop always says yes. All right, so 1. Hold on. Line her up. 2. Okay, so that's the 1. And then the 3/4. We got this. We got this. We did it once. I can do it again. Go team. Go team quilt chop. Go, go. Go team quilt chop. Go, go. All right, hold on. We got this. Okay, that's the 3/4. Ooh, that's tiny. Look at that. Look at that. It's barely anything to sew to. Okay, what's on the other side of this? 1 and then 1/4. Okay, let's do those 2. Move that down, line that up. If you do it this way, then you're just moving the ruler. You're not shifting and reshifting and realigning and repositioning your fabrics, right? So if you use the ruler and then the board underneath, that is your advantage. Okay, so we 1 and then 1 1/4. Okay. And you just keep going and going and going until you're done. I mean, till your fabric's done. Then you make your next tube and keep going. So is that 1 1/4? I think so. That's 1. Yeah, it is. Okay, just make sure it's lined up all the way from top to bottom. Okay, so now we have those. Now let's put them in the sequence we need them to be. So let's grab these 2 because I don't want to mess them up too much, so I'm not going to grab a handful. Okay, let's move the ironing board just a wee bit out of the way. And like I said, I wanted that yellow to come right up off the, like the little map, right? So I'm taking it, I'm going to rip it apart at the top of this one. Okay. And then that's going to be my next in sequence. Okay. So I'll put a pin. Okay. And then this one is going to be yellow right at the top. So I'm going to rip it in that sequence. Okay. Okay, see, that's really coming together, isn't it? Move the chair out of the way. Okay, and then for the next two, okay, I'm going to rip it at the top of the lightest green, because then that's going to make that yellow go boom right off that quilt. You're like, hey, where'd the yellow go? It's out of here. Okay. And then I can make it continue to go completely off, so making this one come up even further. Do you see that? That secondary, the yellow bit, because he's popped down in the corner here and he's going to be down here again. So, you know, we want to make sure we're kind of sharing all the love, right? So I think I'm going to rip at the top of this tiny one here. It's not the tiniest, it's the next one. This is just an inch. Okay. There's that one. Okay. Now these two. Now I'm like, okay, do I want to keep going with that yellow up a bit here, or do I want to actually make it so it's like a big V or like a wave or something? Or do I really want this one to come all the way up as far as I want it to go, and then just pretty much recycle that yellow, you know what I mean? So it's coming up on the bottom side here. I think that's kind of like what I want to do. This is where I love the creativity of it all. You are the master. You get to pick. You get to choose what happens next. You know. Oops, that was supposed to go in between. Oh, fudginators. Hold on. You have to fix that seam, make a different one. Because that was not in the sequence it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be the smallest, and then back to the other one. Okay. Fix that boo-boo now. Sew this one back together, just like it was before we ripped it, making sure you're not looping. And then we'll have to take the stitches out at the other section. Okay. So that's easy enough to fix. No stress. We fix. Okay. Now, it should have been with the flower, would have been at the top. Okay. So taking my pin, there. See how that yellow is just coming right up? And then now we're putting that, if we wanted to peek, we could have peeked down there because that would have been the smallest spot. But, you know, it's your choice. I didn't peek at the smallest spot there. I waited a couple more and it came down. It's mine. I can do what I want. Okay. Then we'll put that last one up and then we'll sew some of these bits together. Okay. So that one would be this one right here. And it would go right up there. That look pretty cool? Yeah, I really like it. Look, I can see it on the camera already. Look at how so much of a difference. That looks really cool. Aw, thank you, Diane. Like I said, you have to take those bull by the horns and change things. If you don't like the way it's got going on, you change it. You got the power. You can do it. All right, so what I want to do is I kind of want to leave this section alone because I don't want to manipulate that any more than I have to. So I'm going to pretty much work on this section. So I'm going to take these two buddies, and I know they go together, and that's what I'm going to do. And if I'm nervous about not hitting every single one of those seams, I'm going to put a pin. And the smaller they were, the pieces, the more pins I put in. And you just want to line it up, okay? And making sure you have that visual step. Whatever was next to one would be lower than the other, right? Thanks, honey. Thanks, Mr. Cameraman. Now you bring all your pins over. And you pin. I mean, I'd rather pin every one or every other one. because they do kind of stay mostly lined up. It's the small ones that get really fiddly. And that's when they start shifting on you and giving you the evil eye and stuff, you know. Just can't trust those small pieces. I agree with you, Claire, and that's actually what was in the booklet. What did I do? The one that was the magazine, it had them offset too. So I thought, oh, that'd be fun. But then I'm like, you know what? I really like the way this has got going on. So. Uh-oh. Who, what? Forgot? What? What? Oh my gosh. You should have sent it to me. Even by sailboat, it would have got here faster. Or it got done faster. Those may be curious. I do take in quilts to be quilted and mail them back out. So it happens. We get your beautiful work done. Okay. Pop in a few seams. A few pins in the seams. Some you're going to have to flip and flop to make sure they're lining up correctly. Screen is funny. Fuzzy. Oops, sorry, not funny. That would, we film in 4K, so it really shouldn't be. Try the little clog and change it to higher screen resolution. Yeah, I know. It does take time. Okay, so I don't really need a pin there. Let's take my little basket and put them back over there. And then we'll sew down that seam. Hello, Karina, or Karen, sorry, and Sue. All the people have come, and Cindy, Mariana. All right, so we just sew on down, making sure your seams are flipped and flopped. Oh, shush, Mr. Clive. You had your time. And I try very hard not to, ow, to sew over my pins or get stabbed in the leg by the whole train of pins. Ow. Yes, Sophie. That's what happened. I know. Now Sophie's here. Come over on this side so people can see you. Come on, over here. So people can see you. There we go. Hi. No, not you, Clive. Sophie. It's Sophie time. Yeah. I can't pick you up, put you on my lap. You're too big. There we go. Give you some pet loving. Oh, sorry, 1080p. I apologize. We filmed the regular shows in 4K. You probably found the one thing to play with. Oh my gosh. Stresses. That's Sophie Lofi. Yeah, she's such a good girl. She is a very good girl. So I love that you stream at that pop. Some other YouTubers don't, and then they aren't nice to watch. Oh, okay, the 1080p. Yeah, I hear ya. It's, I can't watch anything that's too fuzzy. Makes my stomach upset. If they don't have their settings right on their camera, it's hard to watch. Or the sound is really muffled or whatever, or they just have it recording off the, like a little device. They don't have a microphone or anything like that to make it nice and crisp and clean. You know, it's about your enjoyment too, right? Trust me, if we're a little quilt shop and we can take the time and effort to put out that, you know, extra effort. What might you use? Whichever Pop gives me. He knows. He got all the techie stuff. Sorry, KB, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. You use phones, and phones aren't meant for YouTube videos. Not unless it's skateboarding in the park and you're doing tricks. So. And I've seen a couple people put these Bargellos together, and they're not pinning the seams, they're just winging it. And, you know, if I can try and make that little bit of an extra effort to snuggle my seams, then, you know, then I should, right? This is Scrappy Quilt number 3 since the beginning, well, not since the beginning of the year, but since beginning of December, since we started doing these scrappies on the live streams on Sundays. The red and gray turned out fantastic. It's very beautiful. And the pink and brown turned out lovely as well. That's off for donation, just needs the binding put on. And then this beautiful green one. So, all right, oop, take that. And we'll do a little press and love. Okay. And if you're not happy with any of your seams, this is where you can go and take the seam ripper and rip them out. You know, shift them up a little bit. Or shift them down. Or shift them all around. Okay. It's a nice free pattern. I like free patterns, and I like that I can play with the pattern. I can adjust it to my needs and what I would like to get from it. You know, these being new to me, all these style of quilts, patterns that I've never tried before. So I'm, you know, happy to learn. Okay, there we go. So that's 2. Those are 2 together. All right, so what I want to do, since it went to the big and then this one, and then it should be, right, this one right here. So let's take this one, pin it up against it, lining it up all the way down. Okay. A little pin from this side. And do the same thing. Where you do every other one, every third one, whatever, as long as you're getting them lined up and you're happy with what you got going on. I mean, this is your project. I think this would be a great way to take on, if you're not really sure about it, you don't know if it's really your styles or whatever, then do a table runner or a placemat or like a little wall hanging or something like that in a couple of soft colors, like maybe for a baby room or something like that, you know. There's so many, you can even the bag, you know, wrap the bag, take that, well, obviously it'd be a really big bag, but you could take that and flip it up to the top or something like that. Instead of using 14 strips, you're using only 20 strips, and, you know, those strips as you go, you know, between here, there, and everywhere, they make up, you know, an awesome pattern that could be a really cool bag. Actually, I was flipping through the good old YouTube, and they were, someone was doing a Bargello jacket. I went, okay, that's interesting. But it really was a little bit complex for me and my taste, but it was very interesting, very busy. So yeah, go check that out. Just look up Bargello jacket. Roast beef over egg noodles. Oh, yummy. Grabbing fish. I think grabbing haddock. Haddock and salad. Love the pop of yellow. Thanks, Teresa. All right, to line that up and give it a little sew. Oh, what's this, Denise? What's going on? I'll wait for you, Lorlyn, to try a pattern, and then I'll do it. You teach in real time, making it easier for you. Oh, well, thanks, Denise. I find I'm the same way, but I guess my brain just kind of works in a different way, because I'll see something and know how it got there, or figure I know how it got there because I'm such a smarty pants. At least I think I am sometimes. And I'll figure it out. Sometimes it's fantastic, and other times it's like, I don't know, what did I do wrong? Like, I did something wrong, right? But it's all a matter of just trial and error. So is there something that you would like specifically, Denise McIntosh, pattern-wise? Because, you know, I still got a few more scrappies to do, so watch and learn, yeah. Roast beef, we actually had roast beef last night. Yeah, last night. Last night was roast beef night. I made a lovely roast yesterday. I've been doing this murder mystery 2018 quilt thingy. Angie, just one more book to read. She signed me up for it, and I've been loving it. So we just got the instructions to do the second block, which I have to make 4 of them. So I sent my pictures off to her. So tell her I'm done, second block. See where she was on the project. So it's interesting because you get a little story that goes along with it. I thought it was kind of cool. You get a chapter every time you get a block. Mom, don't you have a YouTube on Bear Paws? I do now. That was last. That was the pink and brown bear paw quilt. Yeah, that was my first time. I didn't do bear paw. I have never done bear paws before. So, and trust me, we know all the videos we've done. We must be approaching like 250, if not more videos. How many do we have out there, Pop? Hello, Kathy. Tried this pattern once. You think it was? Oh, was it the Bargello, Teresa? You tried that? And you weren't. See, that's why I thought. You know, I can't. There's some things I'm willing to make a commitment on, like the kit of the Blazing Star for 2017, the block of the month. We've been doing it up for the Patreon videos. And we'll be finishing it up on there. It's really actually quite a good kit. For the amount of fabric, you end up getting about 16 yards of fabric for under $100, and a pattern, and it's good quality fabric, and you know it all matches together, and there are probably going to be some pieces left over. One's hoping. So to me, that's about where's the better deal. I know I have lots in my scrappy collection of fabrics because I've bought some remnant bins, pops auctions, friends donating stuff, cleaning out stuff, so on and so forth. Things they're sick and tired of looking at, I get, you know, and I've done the same thing. I keep recycling down to new sewers and students, and you know, and everything else like that. So everybody's getting the sewing love. So it was pick and choose. I know I needed to use up some of my colors. So I'm like, okay, well, I love Scrappy. Scrappy is one of my favorite types of quilts, and I like mixing and matching because you get so many different color choices that you never thought you even knew existed, like the pink and brown. I had no idea there were so many shades of pink. Not a clue. Until you get them all going. You know? And you got to play around and have some fun. But then when you really want to make a quilt, like with a pattern, and you know, you got the kit, or you really want to make it all matchy-matchy, then, you know, they take the time and you shop for your fabrics and you get or you pick up a kit. And to me, I'm so, you know, frugal in that sense. If I can find a kit for 75% off or 70% off, I feel like I've got myself a great deal. So not only am I going to learn something with that kit, I'm going to have a really lovely collection of fabrics that I've never even seen before, and I get to start, and they get to go to my collection. You know, like the North and South. There's lots of fabrics that have been shared with the North and South quilt. All right, there we go. There's 3, so we'll press. Do-do-do. And that should be the top, so having that yellow almost disappear right off. Bringing that bigger chunk of yellow from the bottom all the way up like a little mountain. I kind of want it to be like a little sunrise over a mountain. Does that make any sense? Over the hills, you know, there's no really mountains in Ontario here, so we'll call them a big hill. So when you grow up in Alberta and you're looking at the Great Rockies, you know, they got nothing but molehills out here in Ontario. I can make a whole hill bigger with my snow pile. All right, so there we go. Pretty, love that. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna take this and put it all the way back up here. And I'm gonna take 3 of those smaller ones and sew them together. I don't wanna manipulate my fabric too much, right? You kinda wanna keep them all happy chappy together. Everybody's copacetically cool. It's looking really good. I'll put a couple of these pins down here so you can see what it's looking like all together. I'll take these 2 guys right here, put them together. And see on these 2, look how tiny they are. That's the 1 inch and the 1.5. And then when I add the 3/4, I'll be pinning every seam. Thank you, Patsy. Pre-cut strips and blocks. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I never was really familiar with them. Like the cakes and the charms and the layers and the rolls and anything else like that. I was never really familiar with them because nobody ever bought me any and I never went to buy any myself. My first, I haven't even opened them yet, was about 2 summers ago, or was it last summer? A customer was having some financial difficulties, I guess, and she, you know, asked to barter to pay for her quilt that she was getting quilted up. And I said, okay, like, you know, what you got, sort of thing. And she said, I have a bunch of these charm packs and I have a bunch of these layer cakes and I have a bunch of this and a bunch of that. So, and I went and priced it and calculated and I gave her pretty much trade for trade, you know, and she was very happy with what we had going on. So I traded the quilting and the batting and the backing, or no, I think she had her own backing, but the batting and the quilting for all these little charmy packs. And then I thought, well, okay, now what do I do with it? Because I'd never had it before. And I still have them. I haven't even cut and opened them or anything because I'm still, it's so, I'm not going to say it's not an old fashioned, but it's very floral, maybe not so my taste, like something maybe I'd make for my mom or, you know, someone older. I don't know, maybe it is. So I will eventually use them. Or sell them because they're still all wrapped up. I make it look so easy. It really isn't that bad. The hardest part of this is making sure you're pressing where you need to press when you aligning your salvage at one end and not being concerned about the other. Don't be pinning from one end and pinning at the other and trying to work that salvage in between. You're going to end up with way wonkiness. Just pin at one, let it slide. That's why you get some of those bows, because you're just pinning at the one end and sewing it down and pinning at the one end, sewing it down. That's why you flip and flop and flip and flop, or sew 3 together and then put them off to the side, sew 3 together, put them off to the side, and then, you know, sew those 3 together, flip them again, and then just pressing. I don't know. I'm always worried that the charm packs they're going to be too short, or I've heard so many nightmares about jelly rolls that they're not 2.5, they're 2 1/4, or they're 2 3/4, or they're, you know, 2 1/8 or 2 3/8, and it's not exactly supposed to be, and it's not 2.5. So how can you rely on spending $50 or $60 on a couple of jelly rolls, not knowing it's going to make you a quilt or not, and you have to do all these alterations to it? So I agree, just kind of cut it, know what I got going on, you know. And I did buy some fabric bundles that were also on sale, the Boundless that were on sale at Craftsy, that were quite cheap in comparison to what they would normally cost. So I picked up a couple there, colors there. So, you know, it's all stuff for the quilt shop and for people who walk in or whatever. So maybe I decide to make a couple of quilt kits or something. And this is what you need. Bye, Kelly. Have a great week. I don't, I think that's why I like the Acu quilt cutter as well, or the Acu quilt, well, it's a cutter, because it does some precise work as well without a lot of waste. So maybe we'll use that. I'll find a nice pattern for that for the next scrappy one. Show how to use the Acu quilt cutter and stuff. I don't mind either one. It's either, you have to set like a half a day aside for cutting if you want to cut all your your stuff ahead of time, or you cut as you go. That's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm kind of cutting as I'm going. Only getting what I need. And these are fiddly when it comes to these small pieces. That's why I like pretty much pinning at every single one when it comes to these small pieces. And making sure you're snuggling your seams up, It's only a couple minutes to pin, so I know sometimes it's like, pinning, I hate pinning. But it really does make a difference in the long run. Okay, so I think we got enough in there. All right, so there's that pinned together. Now we're gonna sew it. Oh, blue fabric, that'd be nice. Blue Bargello. Actually, I think that was on my list. I thought, because when I was sorting out my fabrics to kind of hand some down, I knew in my mind I had a lot of greens, but I actually had more blues than I had greens. So I was gonna possibly change the Bargello to blue instead of green, but I really like the idea of having a green Bargello, so that's why it ended up being that. So I'll have blues probably going to be enough I was going to do blue and purple together, but I have enough blue to probably do a whole quilt by itself. So I may do purple and orange together because I don't have a lot of purple and I don't have a lot of orange. So I think those two would look nice together. What do you guys think? Purple and orange? And then I still have yellow, and we still have, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? If we do orange or purple, and then we have the scrappy one of everybody left over in the pile. So now don't sew over your pins. She drives me crazy to watch her. Who are we talking about? I'm sorry? Oh, okay. All right. Oop, this is not at all touching there. That's there. Snug that back up there. Has anyone ever done a Bargello and done smaller than 3/4 of an inch cut strip? I mean, because I can see, I'm not sure you can make it any smaller than that, really. Or you'd have nothing to see. I mean, I guess there's always an 8, but you'd have more. You got more seam allowance than you do fabric showing. So I'm just curious if there's been anything smaller than that. So pin that tiny one next to this strip right here after we get it all sewn down. Okay. Hello, Linda. Indiana. And your first time here? Well, welcome to the Scrappy Bargello. Welcome to the Scrappy Bargello. We're working on 1.5 inch and 1 inch piece together. It's really small and tedious, but that's okay. It looks good. And of course, the many strips you have is how long it pretty much determines how long your quilt is going to be, right? So if you have got like 16 in your collection or something like that, then you know you're going to have 32 strips going all the way down that are 2 inches each or so on and so forth, and you kind of got an idea of how big your quilt's going to be. All right, so there's that. Oh, it should be that way. There we go. Okay, so there's there. And we're going to add this tiny little guy right there. He's going to go on the side. That little 3/4 of an inch. A wee little thing. Look how tiny that is. Oh my goodness. It is smidgenly. It's tiny. It's oh so tiny. Do. Yeah, we want to include everybody in the chat. I don't want to just see it myself. I want everybody, because you're going to have to chat with each other. I'm here to work. You're here, guys, to watch me work. Okay, I am pinning at every single one, I think. Maybe every second one. But I really am making sure those seams are snuggled. They really have to be snugged. Okay. And I'm going to take my time and not go like a lead-foot Larry or crazy person. I know it's hard. It's hard to control myself and my lead-foot Larryness. Just a need for speed. Go, pedal to the metal. It's supposed to hit the floor for a reason, right? That's why they have it going to the floor. That's why the speedometer says 280 miles an hour. To test you if you can go that far. Yeah, pre-snuggle the seams. Get the love in there right away. Every seam I snuggled. Cats are weird when they go to drink water. I was just watching Clive there for a second. He puts his paw in first. I was like, we never tried to poison him. He's had the same water thingy with the dog for years. So, like, seriously? They're weird. Animals are weird. Right. All right, almost there. I've been watching, what am I watching? What was I watching the other day? That was really good. What was I watching? Oh, Suits. I've been starting to watch Suits. I had never watched it before. It's not bad, actually. It's just background noise, really. I half the time don't really know what's going on. Sometimes I have to stop and rewind and go, what? Something big just happened there. I don't know what happened. You love Suits, yeah? Hello, Linda. Hello, Nikki. You're just in time. The party just started. No. We've been here for a while. You're late. Just teasing. All right, this is I've already sewed the 1.5 inch to the 1 inch. Now I'm sewing the 1 inch to the 3/4 inch. And I'm gonna try and give myself a nice, even seam allowance, because that's really gonna reflect how even that tiny little strip is all the way down that quilt. Okay. If you try and make sure it's nice and consistent, no weeble wobbles, it should look really good. So tiny. I'm like, who sews these tiny pieces like this together? That's crazy. Oh, yes, yes. You still got bobbin on you. Shush. Okay, that was tiny. Hello, Jerry Lynn. All right, that is so tiny. Look how tiny that is. See, how tiny is that, Laura Lynn? That is so tiny. I could barely even see it on there. See? Look how tiny that is. And happy birthday in 4 days. Happy birthday in 4 days. Happy birthday in 4 days. 4 days to Jerry Lynn. Right. Spread that out. And then I think I'll sew those other two together and then sew those two to these three. And then that, I think, will be the show. So we got some more pinning and sewing and pinning and sewing and pinning and sewing and pinning and sewing and pinning and sewing. And be sure to join us at the Facebook Mama Pop Quilt Shop Mafia group. Everybody's posting their goodies that they're working on, you know, sometimes what's for dinner. It's always nice to share free patterns, you know, and talk about your stuff or get ideas about borders and stuff and, you know, tweak your projects. Okay, so now I am going to sew those two together. Let's put this back up there so I don't get it lost and make sure it's not out of place. So get you up there. Take you two down. There we go. You're so tiny. And then I just have another strip set to do and sew those loops together and cut some pieces for next week. Make sure I got this in the right sequence here. Yeah, the flower at the top. There we go, sewing these two together. Okay. There we go. And then we'll finish it off next week and you'll see a lot of it done. And figure out whether I'm going to put some borders on it once I get a better idea how big it's going to be. Like I said, if you wanted a whole other set of, you know, make it that much wider and keep going with your Bargello and your waves and so on and so forth, then all you have to do is just make more strip sets, you know. Make two more to make that tube that sews, you know, goes around and around. Really, Mr. Clive? Now this should be a 1 inch and a 1 1/4 inch. That's what it had us sewing together. And you think, oh, well, what's the big point? But you really do see the difference as it's going from light, from bigger to small in the whole strip pieces, right? So I did think about just doing this and just offsetting it. So it was kind of like, you know how you'd lay a brick, you had that brick, and then inside the center of the next row, you'd put the joining part where it was the middle of the other brick and so on and so forth. Because that's kind of like what was going on in the magazine that they had, but it wasn't completely in the halfway point, which had me confused. So I don't know, maybe next time. The next Bargello. Because I plan on doing a bear paw again. I think a bear paw with black, white, and gray. I think that would look really stunning, very masculine, but very, you know, I don't know, very neat. I think it would look really neat. What's up, Mr. C? Mr. Clive, the wackadoodle cat. Don't sit on my pedal. You seem to like that, and I don't. So that makes only one of us. Alright, so let's sew this one down. And then we will press it and then pin it to the one we just finished with that tiny little strip, because we'll have to pin the other side of that tiny little 3/4 strip with what we're sewing here. And then we'll crest for the day. Shush, shush. You got more bobbin. I'll tell you when you're out. You don't tell me when you're out. Actually, it'll tell me. It'll just stop working. Yeah, shush, shush. You got more thread on you. Quiet. I prefer to use it all up, thank you very much. You don't have that option with embroidery, though. If it tells you your bobbin's low, it will not continue until you fill up a new bobbin. So with doing those skate bags for the donation club, check out the Facebook page, you'll see those. It took well over 3 hours to stitch each one out. And I must have used at least 6 bobbins for each one, including 2 creams. So it's like, holy moly, there's lots of red. I need to order red thread. I used it all up. All right. Okay, nice. Uh-oh, Jaren's got to the doctor? My machine is... Uh-oh. I'd say give it some harsh words, but that's not going to help you. Okay, I'll press this, and then we need to pin our little tiny little 3/4 to this strip of 1 inch. No, I guess I'd have a yellow quilt. I'd have to do yellow, unless orange and yellow go together. I could do those two together. But then purple and what? Blue's all on its own. I may just have to go shopping for purples. Just so I can make a purple quilt. Excuses, excuses. Oh no. Sacrifices must be made. All right, so this one goes up here all the way to the top. Make sure we're following in our sequence, and we are. So let's take those two out. I think there was another pin in here somewhere. No, it wasn't. Take that, line them up together. Okay. Let's have it. What's going on?
Can't see the top.
Can't see the top of the Bargello? Oh.
Not until I zoom up.
Oh, okay. Look at that's beautiful, eh? I love how I can see it on the camera. Looks stunning. All right, so we're putting those little bits and bobs together. Okay, so we'll pin this, and then we'll sew it, and then that'll be the show for today. Okay, so pop in a bunch of pins. You two are so good. He's in my space. What's he doing? What you do? That's okay. He kicks me out of the room when he's doing his Pops Tech Talk. I'm not allowed. I make too much noise. I'm a noisy maker. Pinning away, do, pinning away. Yes, you have to have pinning patience for this quilt. I mean, you don't have to pin, but that's up to you. I really, really want that defined, with those seams all snuggled together. I really want that defined wave of color. Eventually, I'll end up keeping at least one or two of these scrappy ones. You never know. But it does make me feel good that I know I've dipped into my collection and made some pretty awesome stuff so far. So. Okay, I'm just pinning at every other one because I seem to be okay with that. As long as the other one gets matched up in between. It's so tiny. And you have to be really careful with your seam allowance to make sure you're not stitching on the other side of, I probably should have flipped it to the small side, but that's okay. Live and learn. Yes, very happy tomorrow's family day, so we have a day off here in Ontario. I think BC was last week, and I'm not sure where the separation is, whether it was Alberta and Saskatchewan as well were last week, or are they this week? So I'm not sure, but it's nice to have that little extra day off. But we're just going to catch up on stuff anyways. All right, so now that's pinned all the way, the tiniest little chunk of fabric, 3/4 of inch to inch on either side. Okay, seriously, you're gonna cause me that much of a ruckus? I'll put a new one in. Itchy nose. All right, sew this down. Now I want to be really careful that I am giving it that 1/4 inch and not catching that other seam from the other side of that 3/4 inch bit of fabric. So if you have to keep going a little bit, and I love that my machine has needle stop down option on it. So when it comes to situations like this, as I just plug away, whenever I lift up off the pedal, it's going to stop with that needle down position. I'm just going to flip that seam to make sure it's not getting in my way, not accidentally tacking the edge of it or the corner of it or anything else like that. Okay, now flipping that little seam under. Sorry. Line that one up. I would shift it just a little bit. Okay, almost there. Okay. I felt something. Okay. I thought I had actually grabbed the other seam underneath, but I didn't, so. But it felt a little weird, so I thought, check now before I sew further and have a bigger issue to deal with. So. Okay. Yeah, and join us for Long Arm Wednesday, where we're going to be quilting up the boys' charity quilts. I'm hoping to have 3 on the long arm. The 2 that we did for the weekend project, and then that other one that I was working on with the extra bits and bobs, and I just got to cut, I don't know, about another 24 or 48 pieces and sew them together, and that'll be a 3rd one done, so be happy with that. So, I think it's progress on the charity department this month. That's awesome. Give back where you can, and that will in turn give back to you. All right, almost there, and then we're gonna press it. And you're gonna be so impressed with my pressing. Probably not, because I'm not a really perfect presser. All right. Okay, look how tiny that is. OMGzers. I'm going to show you. You can see it. How tiny that is. Tiny, tiny, tiny. I love it. It's looking beautiful. Glad I chose that little goldy brown, a little bit of yellow and some greens and stuff in there, and then that really bright pop of that like little lemony yellow. All right, looking good. Yes, look how tiny that is. Hopefully you can see that. Look how tiny that is. Anyway, thanks everybody. I'm just going to pin this up on the board here. Be sure to check out Patreon, Facebook. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate that here. I'm going to put that all the way up there. Lines up beautifully. I'll get a few more sewn together before I actually sew those ones together. Okay. I'm trying to make sure your seams are nice and straight. You may have to maneuver and fandangle and use a little steam, but you know, you can do it. Okay. Looks fabulous. Getting there. Getting there. So how many strips is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21 strips. And we probably get another, say 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 strips out of each one-ish. You know, that kind of gives you a bit of a gauge of, you know, how wide it's going to be, right? So where's my tape measure, but I don't know where it went. I was going to say measure something, but I don't know where it went. That's okay. There's my mind if it wasn't touched. I'm glad it looks good. I'm loving it. I really am. I really like how you can see that really pop of like check color and how it's movement and stuff like that. So that's really cool. There we go. Thanks, Claire. Sometimes you just gotta take the bull by the horns and just go. Be rebellious. Yes, so that's pretty much it. You know, it does say something about borders here, 48, inner border, you know, a couple of inches. What was it, 1.5, and then 6 1/4. That's outer border, or yeah, 6 1/4. That seems like a big outer border, but then the binding, but that's okay. So 66 by, oh, that's for the batting, 51. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We will see you on Wednesday, and hopefully you guys give this free pattern a try from northcott.net. And it's by Patty Carey and the Serenity Bargello. And actually, I did find a YouTube video on this exact quilt. So if you want to go, just go Serenity Bargello, and you'll see Patty Carey making it. So obviously not with my colors, with her own colors. So take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Big hugs.